It's the middle of January, and I'm already ready for winter to be over. So I've got here a few parts to fix up the Ducati. First and foremost, and mostest is this Bike Master battery. I've had very good luck with this brand in the past. I actually took one of these through like 3 bikes. I went through bikes quicker than I went through batteries. AGM can be oriented in pretty much any direction, won't spill battery acid all over you in a wreck, which is always a good thing. Pretty heavy, and as you saw, significantly larger that was in there. Hopefully the size deficit. Hey Google, hopefully the bike cranks over, runs a little better, has a little bit more electrical overhead with this. But to help with that, they also have this. This is a really cheap LED H4 bulb that I got off of Amazon. I'm just gonna stick that in there just to kind of lessen the electrical load in general, with the added bonus of when I flash to pass, it'll be a bit more of an instant transition between low to high beam, be a little bit more dazzling. And what we have here, mysteriously, like I'm not even joking, this is completely covered in oil for some reason. Let me show this a little closer to the camera. This is the right-hand controls as I got them from the seller, totally covered in motor oil, and it's all on the bubble wrap too. I have no idea how or why. I guess they didn't want them to rust, but that has a starter button that actually is in good shape. So very excited to put that on there. Should be pretty simple. A couple screws in the bottom, one of which is missing, but no problem, we'll just use the other ones. And then yeah, little plug that is also covered in oil for whatever reason and seems a little bit stickier. Not sure what's up with that. And the other thing I'm going to try and do involves these. These are the foot pegs off of a 2001 Suzuki GSX-R 1000. And I'm going to try, I've heard that the bolt spacing here is the same as the exhaust mounts on my Ducati, so I'm going to try to mount these on there in some sort of fashion that will allow me to carry a passenger again and also clear my fancy carbon fiber pipes. So let's see what we can get done. Now, obviously, or maybe not so obvious, the easiest part of this is going to be the battery, but while I'm here, there's one thing I'd like to solve, is that these screws that come with these batteries, don't fit through the holes on these battery terminals all that well. So I'm gonna go grab a drill bit and we'll see if we can make that hole just a tiny bit. I mean, it pretty much threads through there. I just can't quite push it through, and I'm tired of having to thread this through the battery terminal every time. It's awful. It's terrible. It's awful. It's trash, garbage. I don't wanna. Oh, of course I don't have any of the right drills here. Well, if you want a lesson in what not to do, I suppose this is it. I actually can't find a drill that has the correct holder for this, so what we have here is a 1/4 inch in an adapter on a snap-on impact with a drill bit loosely being held in it, and there's absolutely no way I could possibly mutilate myself by doing this. Here, oh, yep, that isn't a large enough bit. Can I just reiterate again that this is absolutely not how you're supposed to do this? Ah, hey, that almost fits now. Turns out, if you just let the drill bit wildly flail around, it will wallow out the hole. Remember kids, if you reach your 50s with all your fingers, you didn't mechanic hard enough. Perfect. All right, let's do the other side, because I still have all my digits, and the night is young. And it still ain't big enough. Okay. A sane person would just use the proper drill bit, but I'm not a sane person, and I'm also in the middle of moving, so everything's kind of missing right now. But that appears to work. So let's go ahead and slap the battery in. Positive goes over. Oh no, I dropped my nut. Where did that stupid nut go? Oh, please don't let this be one of those things that takes me like 8 hours, delays the project, and further erodes my will to live. Oh, there it is. Stuck down where I can't reach it. Lovely. Nut successfully retrieved. In it goes. Again, Don't do what I'm doing. I just hook the positive up to the negative. Wonderful. New battery. Moving on. Okay, moving on down the bike. This isn't really broken per se, but the blatant unoriginality of it does kind of annoy me. These spacers here on the shifter lever. Let's try and get these off. It's rather a tight bolt. Oh my gosh. Cool. All right, I don't see any real clearance issues with that. I think that'll be fine. I mean, come on now. And that looks way better than nylock nut and some washers with red stuff on them? Questionable. Much nicer. Now the other thing I'm wanting to do over here is probably going to cause a little bit of controversy. It's what's called a GP shift. And that's where you invert this part and that flips the shift pattern from 1 down, 5 up to 1 up, 5 down. And there is no real reason for me to do this other than I rode a bike that was set up for GP shift and I liked it. So screw the internet's opinions. Oh, that is absolutely covered in dirt. The dog's upset that I'm not paying attention to him. Okay, so with the bolt out, I should just be able to, being the operative word, just wiggle this off with minimal effort and finger manglement. Finger manglement? Finger manglement. Yeah, I'd say that feels about right. The internet lied to me. I know, shocker, that never happens, but this is the aforementioned GSX-R 1000 passenger peg. And while the spacing is perfect for it to fit here, you have a bit of a problem, and I'm not entirely sure what the solution is. One school of thought is get longer bolts and space it out a bit. And the other thought that I had was, what if I just kind of grind that at an angle so it sits out? But I'm not a huge fan of that because then the peg will be at a weird angle and it is. So I think what I might end up doing is getting some sort of spacer shenanigans going on here. Try and move these out a bit. It's not going to be pretty. I definitely do need to paint these as well. I mean, this is just, it's got chrome peeling off and all kinds of grossness going on here. But I think that will require a hardware store run, and I'll fix that later. In the meantime, I just gotta put back the most ridiculously over-tightened screws in the history of mankind. And of course the camera wasn't rolling, but I had Allen wrench on there with the 10 mil wrench acting as a breaker, and I was putting almost all of my body weight on this stupid thing to get it off. It was ridiculous. I don't understand why they were on there so tight. So let's just get this wrapped back up and we'll go see about that headlight. Speaking of heads, can't tell I've got a huge forehead when it's half out of frame, can ya? If Rogaine Foam wants to sponsor me, that would be fantastic. Then I won't have to poorly frame my shots on purpose. Tighten these to just a little bit less than ridiculous. Ready? Ready? Okay, perfect, cool. Let's go to the front of the bike. All right, let's get this headlight open here to see what we're dealing with. I've bought these cheap Amazon LEDs before. Wow. This one actually feels quite good. I mean, I bought these before and they've been pretty crap, but This has a nice feeling connector. This little box is metal. A little heat sink. Looks like it's passive, no active cooling here. The LEDs are lined up to try to simulate the filaments of a light, so hopefully the light scatter won't be too terrible. The problem here is going to be, I have no idea how to change the light bulb on this bike. I can feel a big rubber boot, so I guess I'll start there. There's got to be a better way to do this. Remove headlight, Ducati 900 SS. Okay, I guess we're taking the fairing off. Cool. That's what I wanted to do right now. Quarter of a turn at a time. Kill me. Replacing a headlight is one of those things I feel like is a pretty good metric on if something is easy or hard to work on. For example, I had a 2003 Mazda 6, and in the manual it would tell you how to replace all of the lights, but when it came to the headlights it just said see dealer. And as I later learned, they had a very good reason for this, and that is you had to remove like the entire nose of the car and remove the headlight housings and remove all kinds of shenanigans just to change stupid headlight bulbs. On the plus side, Ducati, thank you very much for making all these fasteners identical, head size at least. I mean, I just have one Allen key can take apart half the bike. Okay, looks like the trick here is to undo the front one first, because then once I loosen the rear, I can just slide the mirror assembly forward and have way more access once I crack this one loose. Mirror slides forward, and that becomes super easy to get out. Ha! Yay! Last of the bolts! Ooh. Ooh, looks like we're doing things. What? Well now, do I want to take the adjusters out? Okay, so I got the headlight off. I am a little bit concerned with how I'm going to get it back on though, because that was a bit of an enormous pain. I actually had to back off all three of these adjustment screws and then push the headlight in and down to take it out with these keyways. So anywho, let's just pop off our plug there. Quick turn counterclockwise, has this releasing lock out, and out comes the old halogen light. And in goes the new hotness. Let's see here. So that is keyed to only go in one way. That's problematic. Thought I was screwed there for a minute, but it turns out the makers of this LED actually thought of this. This collar has to go behind the actual prongs here on the bulb, but this collar comes right off. So I can slip on the Ducati part, stick this back on, lock it, and then this goes in like that, and that locks in. Oh yes! Oh, that is very cool. That's very cool. Let's plug it in. All right, I'm just gonna set that. I guess now is when we find out if my battery works. Ooh. Oh, hey, that's not bad. Yeah. Oh man, that beam pattern isn't terrible. Let's see here. Let's see if you can see that. It is a thing that exists. All right, so in preparation of putting these back, I'm just going to loosen all three of these a little bit more, just proportional amounts. So I'm gonna go another full turn on all three of them. That'll keep the aim from getting messed up, but it'll make it just a little bit easier for me to get those keyways back in, if I indeed can get them back in at all. So we'll go ahead and plug that back. That isn't going to fit even remotely. And up, push and up. Oh, uh-oh, I went too much. I gotta get the other sides now. Oh, what a ridiculous system. Okay, let's see. So I guess the tip here is that these are all kind of soft mounted, these screws, so I can sort of push them around to where I need them to go just a little bit. Okay. Why they do it like that? Let's get this starter button done. And just to show a little bit better what's going on, here's the new versus the old. If I push over here, the button just works. If I push over here on this one, it just kind of goes crunch. It doesn't really, it's very broken. The hinge over here is just snapped off. I just got this a little bit degreased, so it should be all good to go. And of course, let's see here. Yes, the same Allen key as the fairings. So nice. It's like Honda with 10 mil bolts, except somehow just a little bit. Ugh. Oh, Jake doesn't like that at all. Looks like I've got to take this throttle cover off somehow, but I don't see any obvious way to do that. I can get to the bolt I need. Fantastic. Minimal heartache involved. Very minimal. Oh, that's a precarious screw. How am I gonna get that back in? What's the next layer of this ridiculousness? Looks like, yeah, of course it does. Brake lever has to come off. Just undo that clamp, which is directional. There's an up arrow on here. Haha. Okay. Now that the switch is free, the cable is still not, but I'm just gonna go ahead and stick a new one in there physically so I can start bolting some stuff together before I start worrying about where that cable goes. Oh, it's keyed. There's only one way it can go in. That's very nice. All right. Okay, what did I break? Yeah, there's a bit of a plasticky bit that the cable has to go around that it was not in this case. So let's see where these wires go. Looks like it's zip tied to absolutely everything, because of course it is. Someone in this bike's past just really liked their zip ties. Oh, that one, I didn't even have to cut that one. That just came off. Oh look, more zip ties. Cool. Oh great, ones that are hard to get to. Oh, I love it so much. Seriously, there's two more zip ties just for these two wire bundles. Why? Why is this the way that it is? It's like the universe is playing a sick joke on me for buying a Ducati. Man buys Ducati, annoyed at electronics. News 11. Okay. Wow, what sort of sick trick is this? The plug is like sandwiched between another wiring harness and this. What is this? This part of the fairing support. That harness. Wait enough to wiggle it through. Yes, almost got it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Goodbye and good riddance. Hello? All right, we got brake, we got throttle, starter button, kill switch. Okay, that was fun. Let's put all of this garbage back together. Well, there we go. We put in a new battery, which is now charging at 13.6 volts, far healthier than the 12.6 I was getting earlier. We've got a nice LED headlight, nice and crisp and cool looking. We de-uglified the shifter and switched it to GP shift. And I have a vague idea what to do with those GSXR passenger pegs. And I got a starter button that works now. So really a lot done to get this Ducati back up to the way that it should be. I'm very excited and pretty pleased with how things went. The reason that you didn't see me putting the fairing back on is because there was too much swearing and it would not have been YouTube friendly. And now my handlebar hits the fairing at full left lock. I'm not sure what that's about. I'll have to look at aligning, I guess. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of places that this can go, but at any rate, Ducati's doing pretty good now. I'm excited. I can't wait for it to get a little bit warmer. Unfortunately, my propane heater doesn't heat the whole city, so this bike's going to be stuck in hibernation for a while. I've got the battery charger back there to keep a good charge on the battery, and once it hits above 40 consistently, we'll see how this thing does. Thanks for watching.